In the latest update, we're adding the 7th edition of the APA format and making a few other changes to make writing papers easier than ever before. Let's look at these changes. There are 2 new types of research papers, changes to the title page for each of them, updates to our reference wizard, and new options for creating citations. Let's dive in. Now, the biggest change in the APA 7th edition is the distinction between student and professional research papers. In PERRLA, you can create both student and professional papers by clicking APA 7 Research Paper from the dropdown. At the top of the PERRLA panel, you can switch back and forth between the type of research paper you need, either student or professional. Each tab will give you the fields that you need to create each type of paper. To better understand what makes these research paper types unique, let's take a closer look at their title pages. The title page for student research papers includes the paper's title, the student's name, the student's school or affiliation, the course number and name, the instructor's name, the due date of the paper, and a page number. You may notice that in the APA 7th edition, student research papers no longer include a running head. And there's a slight change to how the page is formatted. The title is bolded like a true heading 1, and now it includes an empty line after it before the rest of the content. Now, the title page for professional research papers, which are designed for articles that may be submitted for publication, includes the paper title, the author's name, the author's institutional affiliation, an author note with 4 paragraphs, each with a unique purpose, a running head, and a page number. Besides the title page, the only major difference between student and professional research papers is that a professional research paper includes an abstract by default. But if you have a student research paper and need to add an abstract, you can, using PERRLA's Abstract button. Now, in addition to the changes for the APA 7th edition, we've also given you the ability to more easily customize your title page. Now, each of the elements in the main section of the title page is a separate content control. That means it's its own object with the little blue box around it when you hover over it. This change gives you the ability to add your own information on your title page, or even rearrange the objects to meet your professor's requirement, all without breaking PERRLA's connection to the title page elements. Now, just like citations, if you want to type after a content control on the title page, you need to move your cursor outside of the content control's blue box. You can do that using the left or right arrow keys after you place your cursor beside the content control. Okay, with that out of the way, let's look at the changes we've made for references. The APA 7th edition made a number of changes to individual reference types. Now, instead of boring you with the details for each of them, just know that the APA 7th edition references in PERRLA follow all of the new rules and guidelines put forth by the APA. It's kind of our thing. We handle the formatting so you don't have to. Now, there are some really cool changes that we've made to the reference wizard itself. And the first one that you're going to encounter is our brand new reference types. We've simplified our reference types so you won't have to spend any extra time deciding what type of reference you have. If you're using a book, choose book. If you've got a journal article or a special journal section, choose journal. It's really that simple. Then, once you've chosen a reference type, you'll see the second update to the reference wizard. We've streamlined the reference wizard forms to give you the ability to better control what information you enter. Here's how it works. At the top of a reference form, you may have 2 questions about the kind of reference you have. These are simple questions that will help us give you better options in the form itself. Next, you'll see fields for the kind of information you may have with that reference type. There's space for contributors, like authors, editors, or translators, and then the publication information, like the title, dates, editions, and so on. Now, we've highlighted the most commonly used fields in the form for each reference type in blue. These are like a guideline for the information that we think your reference should contain. But if your reference doesn't have something, no worries. Just leave that form field empty and we'll take care of the proper formatting for you. So, for example, if you're adding a book and there isn't a publication date on it, leave the publication date field blank. we'll add the appropriate N period D period for you in the reference. This brings us to our next new feature. Once you enter your reference's information, you can get a live preview of your reference at the bottom of the form before you go to the next step. This is a great way to catch any typos before moving on. Okay, now let's look at the last major change in PERRLA, a new citation form. After you've added your reference to your paper, you can create citations just like before. You place your cursor where you want the citation to appear, and then you click Add Citation under the reference in the PERRLA panel. There you'll see our updated citation panel. First, we've added a live preview to your citation, just like the reference. As you enter your citation's information, you'll be able to see what your citation is going to look like in your paper. Second, we're giving you the ability to customize your citation by leaving out parts of the citation that may already appear in the sentence you're citing. The APA calls these narrative citations because part of the citation shows up in the narrative or body of your paper. So if your sentence says, according to Gidget, Sasquatch is over 7 feet tall, you can uncheck the author's name in the panel and we'll leave it out of your citation. You can do the same thing for the citation's date or location, and all the while we'll show you the correct preview for it. Well, that covers the biggest changes in PERRLA with the APA 7th edition update. We've added student and professional research papers, given you the ability to better customize your title page, simplified the reference wizard, and given you more control over your citations. We think these are some great additions to PERRLA and the paper writing process. But if you want to learn more about the APA 7th edition or about PERRLA itself, check out our Help Center at www.perrla.com. Thanks for watching and good writing.